Dumelang Baratua, and welcome to another episode of Finance Wednesdays, your go-to platform for everything finance related in the province. I am your host, Maadudi Chaba, and thank you so much for joining us. I would like to take a moment to just say thank you to everybody who has availed themselves to be interviewed here on this platform and the many topics that we have discussed so far. I would also like to take an opportunity to say thank you to everybody who is working in the background to ensure that we have these episodes on a weekly, daily, monthly basis, however often we need to be sitting down to have these discussions. Today we are going to be discussing Provincial Revenue Collection, which is a very important aspect of what it is to have financial sustainability and growth within the province. I am joined by Mr Michael Kanguwe, who is the Acting Director for Budget Management here at Provincial Treasury. I'm hoping that today's topic will be in-depth and you will learn so much about what Provincial Revenue Collection is and the many aspects of positivity that it can bring to the province. And Mr Kanguwe, thank you so much for joining us, sir. I am going to go straight into the questions. We are discussing everything revenue collection. The Northern Cape has a revenue enhancement strategy.
Yes.
What prompted the creation of the strategy and what does it aim to do?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. The strategy was prompted by the fact that I'm sure you will be aware that we have been experiencing budget cuts as a province. We have been experiencing serious economic challenges as a country. Now, we are, as a province, we are a 2% province as a Northern Cape. We get 2% of the national equitable share. So we need to augment that 2% because it obviously is not enough to deal with the many challenges that we experience or we have as a province. So we need to have a strategy as to how do we increase or augment the 2% that we receive from national by our own resources in the province. So the strategy was developed from that aspect. Secondly, the strategy was also developed. There are revenue streams that we have in the province, but we have had challenges. For instance, when you look at the South African Post Office and the challenges that they've gone through, the closure of post offices and stuff like that, which has resulted in us actually losing a lot of revenue. So we need to find a strategy as to how do we close that gap so that we don't lose that revenue. Therefore, the strategy aims to close that gap because what we are doing now, or what we are in the process of doing, because of this strategy, is the taking over of the motor vehicle licensing function, which resides with the Department of Transport. We are taking it over from the South African Post Office because of the challenges, obviously, of the Post Office. Now, the taking over will mean that we will be able to collect all the revenue that is due to us without the challenges that the post office had of closure and people not being able to renew their licenses, and as a result, us as a province losing that revenue. So there are those things that we are also trying to do. Added to that, I'm sure we are the only province in the country where whose way bridges are not functional. We have 4 way bridges in the province, but only one is functioning in Uppington. So we need to find a way as part of the strategy to ensure that we refurbish, ensure that those way bridges become operational so that we can optimize or increase the revenue that we are collecting, because we want to deal with the challenges that our people are facing as a province. So the aim of that is basically to deal with the challenges, service delivery challenges, and provincial priorities get funded provincially.
And what are the main sources of government revenue, and why is revenue collection important for our province's growth?
Well, thank you for that question. Government's main source of revenue is taxes. If you take the example of SARS, it taxes us to make money for government. Now, in the sense of the province, like I've mentioned to you already, in the province we have the motor vehicle licensing function, which resides in transport and accounts for about 76% of the provincial revenue of the province. So we also have patient fees from Department of Health. We have gambling licenses, liquor licenses. We have other minimal sources of revenue like debts and stuff like that. But those are the main sources of our revenue in the province. So basically, those are taxes which we really expect our people to be paying, because we in our country we really have a user pay principle. So we pay for what we use. Yeah.
You know, in most instances, as he was talking to me, when you hear taxes, people somehow assume taxes are only from SARS. Now you hear that even the collection modes of motor vehicle licenses and other revenues that they are using, is all of those are taxes, just to be able to ensure that our province grows financially and we are able to cater when it comes to service delivery. Ndade, how can digital technology improve revenue collection?
Okay. Digital technology is very important. We have seen it with SARS. I'm going to bring SARS again because that is the most relevant and the most effective example that I can give you. Before 2006, we are aware that we have been queuing at SARS offices to submit our returns and stuff like that. The queues were long, took time, we had to take leave to go and submit our tax returns. But since the introduction of the e-filing, all of those things, the queuing has been reduced significantly. The level of compliance has increased, resulting in an increase in revenue from the side of SARS, and even in some instances they have been over collecting or surpassing their targets. So digital technology has assisted in that regard. Now, if I bring it home and how it can assist us as a province, for example, I'm just gonna make this example. If you go to Steers, there is, call it a what you call that thing where you order without queuing.
Yes.
I was thinking the other day, why can we not have such a thing? For instance, if we want to renew our licenses, we go to a municipal office or wherever, Pick n Pay, it's there. You punch in your ID number, it gives you your details of your car, you accept that this is your car, it bills you, there's an ATM, you pay, the money goes straight into the coffers of the province. That will significantly reduce the queuing at our traffic offices. It will be very efficient because we are more paper-based these days, and we have to move away from the paper-based kind of system and be more digital and move with the times. So that will improve our level of compliance. If you go to health, for an example, our systems are very manual there, and there's no integration of systems. There is a loss of revenue, for instance, in health, because we as government officials, we go to the RMSH, Robert Mangaliso Hospital. We go there when our medical aids are exhausted, or even if they are not exhausted, we go there and we claim that we are not employed. And we don't pay for the service that we receive there, because we need to pay for the service that we receive at the hospitals, if you are able to. Because there are means of categorizing people as to those who pay and those who don't pay. Now, if we have an integrated system, which digital technology must help with, we have the patient administration system that must probably be linked to SARS, to GEMS, to all these medical aids, so that when you come to health, when they punch in your ID number in their system, it must already tell them that you are an employee at Treasury, you are earning within this range maybe, and you have a medical aid, so that automatically the system can be able to bill you once you leave the hospital or build your medical aid. And then that would be part of also improving or increasing our revenue and do away with all these revenue leakages that we're experiencing because of all this disintegration of systems. So digital technology is very important. We have seen it with SARS, and I'm sure we can do it as a province. Thanks.
Those are lovely ideas. If you think about it, those would allow things to run seamlessly.
Yes.
I mean, people hate queuing.
Correct.
So if I can be able to get my motor license vehicle anywhere where there's a kiosk where I punch in everything and I get it, I pay there, it will be so much more.
Yes.
Ndade, what are the challenges faced by government when coming to revenue collection?
Well, I'm going to mention two. There are many challenges, but I'm going to mention two. The first one is compliance. I've just mentioned to you the issue of health. We are sitting with a debt book of 17 million plus with health of people who have used the system and have not paid. And those are people that must pay, that afford to pay. So we are sitting with that problem. People do not comply. They just don't want to comply. I'm not sure what the reasons are, but they probably have their reasons. But 17 million in health, it's quite a lot of money. So compliance is one of the major problems. The second one is capacity. We have capacity challenges, especially in the area of revenue collection. And this area requires a lot of people, a lot of checks and balances must be done in this area of revenue collection. You cannot have one person doing the collection, the banking, the reconciliation, and all those things. You can't have that, because inherently there will be risks. The money will get lost. We will lose the revenue. So we have seen it. We have had visits to hospital facilities last year. We have seen the fact that there's no capacity. You would have one revenue clerk in a hospital, for instance, who must do the admission, the billing, and all those things. Clearly, it is not sustainable that we have one person for that. Yes, we don't have the money at this point to appoint many people, but capacity is a big problem in our facilities. We have seen it with transport as well. That is why we have advertised posts, or the department's advertised posts of revenue clerks to deal with this issue of motor vehicle licensing throughout the province. It might not be enough at this stage, that capacity, but it is a start. It is a step in the right direction. But those are the two major challenges that I think are crippling revenue collection: compliance and the capacity that we don't have in facilities in our revenue collection areas.
So human capital is very important in revenue collection. So we hope that once the budget allows, we'll be able to get more people on board to be able to do proper revenue collection. As he says, things fall through the cracks when they are being done by just one person. And what are the positive outcomes that we can see in revenue collection once the strategy is fully implemented?
Well, I've been saying to people, the fruits of this strategy, some of us might not live to see them. This is a seed that has been planted, or that we are planting now. It must grow, it must be watered, it must be nurtured, it must be pruned, and all those things. So I don't want to preempt the outcomes of the strategy, but I am hopeful and confident that in the future we have the potential as a province to double our 500 million budget on revenue to 1 billion. We have that potential. There is no way that we cannot reach that target if we close all these gaps. And by the way, the strategy is a living document. It's just but a start. We will improve it as time goes on. we will go to other provinces that are doing well with regards to their strategies and find out and benchmark as to what is it that they have in their strategy that we don't have, or what is that they are doing better that we are not doing. So, like I'm saying, it is just a seed that we have planted now. It needs time and must be allowed to grow, to be fully institutionalized in all these departments. And then we can one day see, like I'm saying to you, there is no reason why we cannot move from 500 million as a province to at least 1 billion of revenue collection. So I'm confident that our strategies, our interventions will result in a huge improvement in our revenue collection over time. So it will assist us, but we need to give the strategy time, because like I said to you, it needs resources. The strategy must be resourced, must be financed. At this point in time, we do not have all the resources that are required to ensure the full implementation of the strategy. So we take it one day at a time. But some of us, we might not be here when that billion is achieved by the province. But the people that come after us, they will be the ones who will be enjoying the fruits of the seed that we have planted today.
What this tells me is that all efforts have to continuously be put into place to ensure that the strategy comes to maturity. You plant a seed and you won't necessarily be able to enjoy the fruit of your labor. But as long as there are people who are taking the strategy forward and changing it, as you are saying, it's a living document. Change it, you chop it, you internalize what it's supposed to do, and you also come up with new ways to make it better, because as the years pass, the technology are changing and things like that, then we will get to where we want to be as a province.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ndade. Once again, Baratu, Akenna Matu Chaba, thank you, Hangwe, thank you, Havedi, thank you. Ciao, ciao. Thank you so much, Ndade.
Thank you, me.